Hello everybody, my name is Spezzy. I'm a Super Mario Odyssey speedrunner and BTT grinder, and today I'm going to be analysing and teaching you about BTTv8, which is a splice speedrun of Super Mario Odyssey which shows the best theoretical time that we could currently achieve. So today I'm going to walk you through the first three kingdoms of the game, being Cap, Cascade, and Sand Kingdom, and we're going to go through all of the tricks and strategies. So let's go, and let's get it started. Go full screen here. Music should be at a good volume, so we should be able to get started. Right, so first thing to talk about is DSDA. We'll talk more about this later, but just to note at the start, they're setting the clock, so they're going to be able to grow a seed in Sand Kingdom later, setting it to 154, and they're going to wait 3 seconds before they start the run. And I'll talk more about it later in Sand Kingdom. So let's start the run. Turn the volume a little bit down. It's slightly loud for me. I don't want it to echo. Let's get it started in the cutscenes. We'll see a little comparison which says BTTv8 comparison, which compares every segment to the last BTT, which was around just over a year ago, and it was around a minute slower, so you can kind of expect it to be that sort of length slower. But yeah, instantly off the start, we're gonna go to our first major thing to analyze, obviously. Might be wondering, depending on who you are, might be wondering, how do you pick up speed so fast? Like that. It's actually so fast, I'm struggling to stop it. I might have to go frame by frame here. I didn't learn how to do this today for this video, so thank me later. Oh, I hit the wrong button. My mistake. So this is what we call a spin pound. You'll be seeing this all over the run. They can be used to spawn moons and pick up speed very quickly. So what I mean by spawn moons is if there's a ground pound moon, for example, where you have to ground pound on the floor, these can be used to make them spawn as well. So we will see Mario doing this little spin. See him? To a little twirl. Like a little ballerina. This is the spin animation. You usually do these to do spin jumps, which is a good form of jump, but they're not really used in the run. Other than this, of course. So with spin jumps, one little mechanic is that if you hold ZL or ZR, you can basically like ground pound in a spin. And if you do these and this instantly, you can immediately plummet into the ground. And after you do this, like normal ground pounds, if you use a Y, X, or shaking the controller, you can start a roll instantly. And by shaking the controller, you get these constant yellow boosts. If you use Y or X, you sometimes will get these boosts, but lots of times you'll get these little grey boosts. Which are good, but obviously not as fast as shaking the controller. So lots of this run, you will just be constantly shaking the controller. Small optimization here. We see triple jumping over here. Nice triple jump, which happens when you jump 3 times, obviously, by the name. And a quick dive onto here, which is ground pound, then X or Y, or shaking control once again. And we'll see first unique cappy throw of the run. By shaking the control in different directions, we can do different sorts of cap throws, and shaking the control to the side will shake it like, will move Cappy in sort of like a circle. He'll kind of rotate around you. See Mario in this animation, and he hits the level quickly. That's the fastest moving cap throw. So lots of cap throws in the game where we're not trying to dive onto him, which we'll talk about later. We'll be doing those, and you see him diving towards the middle. This is just to kind of stall time, and we want to set up a little spin pound here, which we're going to buffer, which is quite complicated, but we'll get into it. We'll see him diving it to the front of the platform, but you'll see, notice here, there's too many things to point out here. Firstly, they go into first person mode, which may look a little bit weird. Oh, I don't think my thing's working. Oopsies. Oops. We'll just watch it again then. You see them very, very briefly go into first person mode. See the camera like zoom in there. That's not a camera angle. because the video is not one I want to work in. A bit troublesome. But yes, you see him enter first person mode here. You can see here when there's no things on the side. This is to skip a small cutscene where the camera pans up usually to show the bridge. But if you do this, the bridge will instantly like that very quickly. And one thing he was also doing is he was spinning his control stick during that, so after he comes out, he can instantly get a spin pad. And he's gonna roll down here and do a nice spin for a roll cancel, which will open the door. Here's something very complicated. It might confuse you. This isn't used in the run at all. It's the only really part of the game that I know of that you can do this, unless all of these coin blocks work. I actually don't know. By spin throwing Cappy into the side of this block, Cappy just gets launched. If I'm being honest, I don't know how it works, but you can try this yourself, and it will work sometimes. Spin throwing Cappy into the side of those blocks can send him forward. Obviously, that's very difficult. It's very difficult to do it like that and hit the frog, but you can. We'll see some cool little tricks here, which you'll see all over the run, but it's first shown really with a frog. You see him doing these like vector, well, that's what they're called. These like almost like diagonal movements, like he's facing to the right now. And he jumps to the left. This is a physics quirk in the game. It's in lots of different games. Sometimes in some like shooter games, you might call it strafe jumping, but in this game we call it vectoring. By jumping at an angle, this can be seen in lots of Mario games. Mario will get slight increase of speed, and there's not really a way that causes this. Most likely is that they didn't really cap the diagonal movement as the same as the regular movement. In the air, that's what we can assume, but we don't really know. And obviously cat throwing into the door, keeping his momentum by doing jumps, which jumping will usually keep your momentum. So if you see lots of jumps which seem on flat ground, that's usually what it's for. Right, first major trick of the run. I say major, it saves like 2 seconds, but we'll refer to it as major. Left side. Usually you're intended to go around the right side of the cap here and climb up a little staircase, but it is faster to go up the left side and perform a little jump, a little triple jump here. Usually a triple jump, but here they do a little faster strat, which this is called a dive vault. It's where you throw Cappy out, you dive, you hold back a little bit, so you can roll right here. You see him rolling. You see the little yellow spark. That means on the first rolls you can use Y and X. So if you shook the controller, Cappy would home into something, which would be the lamp, and you wouldn't be able to vault on him. So they have to use Y or X here, whilst also holding out Cappy. And you'll see this little jump where Mario goes on Cappy. That's a vault, and it's called a dive vault, obviously, because you're diving into the vault. And you can see him cap bouncing here. This is the cap bounce, just like the first one in the run. You'll see it all over the run by just simply jumping on Cappy really in the air, diving onto him, throwing him out, diving onto him. He throws Cap into the wall. This is to keep a little. This is to stall him in the air for a little bit. You won't see a lot of these in the run because it's a lot faster usually to do normal jumps, but you can't make this jump without doing this, so you have to do it because it's quite precise. And you'll see a wall jump right here. And diving onto this railing and jumping up into the first boss fight, which is Topper. You'll see him use lots of spin throws in this boss fight to simply just get rid of the hats and jump onto his head, which is the requirement for beating the boss fight. And instantly like that, instantly done. So that's all it is for Cap Kingdom. I think Cap Kingdom is a good introduction. Kind of shows you lots of the basic movement. But things get crazier. Things get a lot crazier as you go on. Trust me. Yeah, the most interesting kingdoms, I would say, are Sand, Wooded, Lost, Metro. Seaside's quite cool. Luncheon, and Bowser's. Most kingdoms basically are interesting, but do you think Cascade Kingdom has a lot of good stuff here? So we'll be seeing that now as we finish Cap with a 212. The world record is currently a mid 215 by Tyrone, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, it's either Hey There or Tyrone. But yeah, we see that single jump off of the rock, get him a little bit extra height. Very cool trick coming in here. These are used a couple times in this run. They aren't really used in human runs because they're really difficult. This one especially is difficult. This one, on average, if you use a mod which sets you up in the perfect space, on average it would take you like 20 to 30 minutes to clip in, I believe. I heard from the person who's about to have this clip when I was watching them do attempts. On average, it would take them around like 20 to 30 minutes to get a clip, let alone just the movement after it. This is first moon clip, and it was discovered around a year ago, but it was not. But it was proven. No one had been able to pull it off on the 1.3 version, which is the version we're using in the speedrun, because it has faster loading times. If you ask about the versions, 1.0 is the second fastest version because it has tricks like first moon skip and the turnip clip, and other tricks and like sphinx clip as well. But people had only done this on 1.0 until recently, until it's proven possible. What we're going to be doing, this is called a roll cancel clip. They're really precise usually. Some of them are quite easy, some of them are really hard, like this one. It's probably one of the hardest ones in the game. It just turns out that it's, good. By doing a roll cancel, which is you can be performed by hitting Y and then B, or X then A, or shaking the controller then hitting B or A. You'll see lots of them, like spin throw roll cancels, up throw roll cancels. You'll see lots of them, and we'll talk about another cat bounce in a little bit, but they're quite niche, so we'll talk about them a lot. By doing this, you can actually clip into this wall. I believe the trick's at 30. This clip's at 30 frames per second, so that's quite hard. But you can see him clip into the wall. This floor is quite strange. You can't really jump up in this area. You have to go on the left side over here. So you'll see him swim over here before he jumps up. He's around, if you look at this line, he's around here. But the moon's up here. The moon's like here. So he has to jump, and he cat throw and dives into the moon and collects it. So that's really difficult. No one will probably ever do that in a run. So it's incredibly difficult. I believe only 2 people have... No, I couldn't say exactly. I think 3 people have done it on 1.3. I'm probably wrong though. Anyway, DSS coming up. Pretty major trick as well. Usually in normal playthroughs you'd go up this bridge, but by turning around, there was a slight oversight on the design of this wall, where this little you can actually stand on this little line right here. The top of this like rock here, this little wide one. You can actually stand on this little sliver. Now this is incredibly difficult. So around half the speedruns at top levels, the speedrunners who go for this trick, saves around 10 seconds. Half of the runs that they'll do will most likely die to this because it's just very difficult. But obviously they get here. And another cool jump here, call it rib jump. Not going through the 2D section, and just jumping around and heading straight into the boss fight, skipping all of the Odyssey cutscenes. And we'll see them defeat Madam Brood here. Nothing too complicated. They're gonna stop the cycles as Chain Chompkins is launched out. Is he right there? And it's gonna capture it. And we're gonna be collecting coins. We don't technically need them, as this speedrun will do a different route, but in normal speedruns you would need coins to be able to buy the moon in Wooded, but this one does a different route in Sand Kingdom, which allows you to get more coins, so it's not entirely necessary, but obviously, it doesn't hurt, doesn't lose in time, so it's usually just best to get coins. Or, yes, as he was going for the segment, he was obviously getting the coins, as it's not too difficult, and every runner is usually trained to do it. But yeah, that is the Madam Brood boss fight done. It takes around like 30 seconds for these runners, and we'll be ending off Cascade with the final moon we need to collect. We need 5 moons in the kingdom. We got 1 from the first power moon, the story-based moon, and 3 from the multi-moon we collected there, so we need 1 more. And the fastest one to get is by using a trick called a moon clip, which this is probably the smallest one in the run, but it's basically the same, other than this one, unlike most of them, we're going to be seeing him clip through a ceiling. Now, by backflipping, you kind of saw there, Now, by backflipping and throwing Cappy, Mario gets a slight jolt of momentum forward. This is enough where if this happens, whilst you're collecting a moon, the jolt, which would usually send you through a wall, like you could see here, but the normal game would push you back in bounds, but this is cancelled when you grab a moon. As you can see right here, grabbed a moon at the peak of his height. This is a very good one, which is why it's BTT, which is why it's the fastest ever. You got a really good one. He's really high up. Most people, the feet are usually like here, but he got a really good one, which is good. I'll have to skip the cap bounce here, which saves him a little bit of time. But normally you'd cap bounce up top, but he landed right here and went through the wall, went through the ceiling, and does a nice spin throw to end off the kingdom, onto the globe, and to place all his power moons into the now restored Odyssey. After the little cutscene finishes, obviously, 25 minutes out of the 54 minutes of the run are cutscenes, so almost half at this point, which is pretty ridiculous to think about. So there's only around 25 minutes of that. 25 minutes time is unoptimizable, if that's even a word. So we have around 39 minutes to play with. But obviously you can optimize the cutscenes, but obviously less complicated, if you get what I mean. Anyways, entering Sand, the last kingdom we'll be covering in the video, but definitely the longest in the video. We're going to be here for around 4 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot because it's not, but no. For this game, 4 minutes is for Kingdom is decent. It's like middle of the road. And remember when we set the time at the start of the run to 154? The reason we set the time to 154, now new viewers of SMO who maybe watch other speedruns, you might assume it's some sort of RNG manipulation. But no, in Sand Kingdom, we plant the seed, and the seed takes 20 minutes to grow fully. But by moving the clock to 154, we can time it. So when we're in the sub area, daylight saving time, which is the time in which the clock goes forward an hour in a year. I'm assuming you all know that that's a thing. If you didn't, then well, you probably struggling in life. That will act by changing the time on your Switch. That will activate in this sub area, which usually if you did this and it wasn't in the sub area, you'd watch the seed. It would grow very quickly. It would just sprout up constantly. But by doing this, it completely skips the animation and the seed is instantly grown. And they're able to grab the moon. Well, let's talk about a crazy sub area coming up from Cheese Star. Shoutouts. This is so complicated that we have to go frame by frame here to really, see what's happening, because a lot of inputs in the game are happening. Obviously, we're going to start with the sub area with Spin Pound. Usually, humans would usually do some sort of dive strategy and Spin Pound the moon to spawn it, which I suppose this is the first time we're really going to see Spin Pounding a moon to spawn one. But one second. We see him Spin Pounding, and we're going to see him do a quick roll cancel to keep his speed. And as you can see, I can't actually stop the video in time to make it so we can analyze it without going frame by frame, which is lagging my video. But as you can see, really fast, really difficult to do. Took him like hundreds of hours to get, which is crazy. But yeah, see him do a nice strategy. I'll say the name of this strategy. It's called Shireen, which is discovered by Run by Shireen. That's the reason for the name. I believe he was a Japanese runner, but I might be wrong. I don't think he plays the game anymore. Once again, that might be wrong though. Shireen bounce is where you throw Cappy into a wall and then bounce off him. So it skips like the dive where you have to go whoa, and so you can kind of just go into Cappy. That's a Shireen bounce. And see him grab one of the most easy moons in the game. I reckon 90% of the people who played this game for the first time probably got that moon at some point, I would assume. We see him get the bird moon, doing some nice stalls in the air. Some pretty advanced movement. Doing a nice roll cancel to get... a mechanic in the game is single throws, double throws, and triple throws. He's doing these roll cancels and cap throws in specific places, so he can get a triple throw, which is like that. You see how Cappy was kind of spinning around and Mario did this cool like spin animation? That's a triple throw. Triple throws move faster, as in Cappy moves faster in a triple throw. So you can instantly throw him out and it will instantly come back to you if you're shaking the controller. And by doing this, he can store himself in the air very easily and not lose any height, and do a rainbow spin, which we'll call it. Where you kind of saw it, it's a bit hard to show. I have to pause it at the right spot. I'll try my best. There you go, you see that. The little rainbow across there. It's where Mario, when Cappy comes back to Mario in the air, you can press B or A, and he'll do a little rainbow twirl, and that'll stall him in the air once more. And he does cap throw, or an up throw in this case, which doesn't, it's not really necessary, but that'll for sure. And he's gonna rock cancel and grab this ground pound moon on the top of the hill, and that is what we call Hayano Bird, which is found by a runner. Guess what their name is. Yep, think about it. Yep, Hayano. Yeah, Hayano Shinobu, who's like a Japanese runner. He has like a low 102, so shout out to him. We see some pretty crazy movement. Unfortunately, the quality looks like mashed potatoes. Cool, Cade, but it's fine. I'll forgive you. Saw him do the first instance of a dram strat. Now, if I asked you what runner this was discovered by, would you say dram? Well, guess what? No, you're right. By leaving Cappy up here, Mario can go down and grab this moon. He does a little roll cancel, which is a lot harder to do. This is really hard to do. It's probably the hardest bit of the clip. This is a long segment as well. And Cappy gets left up there, and by homing in on the bullet bill, by shaking the controller, he's able to capture the bullet bill. And leaves the bullet bill behind. Very sad, but it's okay, because he's going to do another dram. He's going to do a double dram. He's going to spawn this crate moon, but he's not going to collect it because of this route, which is interesting. You'll see why this is fast later. If you watch normal runs, if you haven't watched the BTT. This is a route that maybe one day we'll do as humans, but it requires a trick that's quite hard to do, but humans could get good at it, but it would take a very long time. So, we see reverse jacksy skip there. Usually you're meant to go through an ice sub area in the quicksand area to get up here. However, you can climb up the back here. There's a little platform you can stand on, and you can instantly get up there and grab this chest moon without any questions. And see him get down. And they're gonna grab this pillar moon over here. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit. It's quite quiet. People want to jam out to the music. But yeah, they've moved in a specific way to manipulate this bullet bill. To make it hit blocks. Anyway, I'll go back because that was very fast. But yeah, you can see the bullet bill is manipulated into them hitting that moon, and see a nice triple jump onto here, landing on this really thin edge, which is really hard to do, and gets a camp return jump, which by the name is when Cappy comes back to Mario and he jumps in a very short time after. He gets this little jump where Mario grabs his hat and does a little twirl and he goes woo, and rolls into the crate moon which we grabbed earlier. We need 3 more moons. In the regular route we would go to the Oasis area, which is down this way, and grab 3 moons over there. But with this route it's slightly faster to do the second rock cancel clip of the run, ice clip or icicle clip. By doing a nice, this is really difficult to do by the way. I actually missed this when I first watched the video. I didn't even know this has been pulled off. I know it had been theorized, but it's really difficult. By doing a double throw, Cappy gets stalled out for long enough where Mario can do a roll cancel. That was an incredible clip. I'll try to frame by frame, but I think my video is gonna lag. Yeah, it will. You see, Mario, he does a roll cancel clip into here, and the double throw means that Mario slightly stalls in the air when he does a double throw, and a triple throw especially. And he bounces off Cappy to get a little bit more air and keep that momentum for longer before he lands on the quicksand, obviously, and loses his speed because you can't really keep momentum on quicksand. So, grabs the moon, and turns back around. He grabs something out of bounds and it goes into the Sphinx area from behind. It's quite weird. So, which is funny because when you exit the Sphinx sub area after grabbing the moon, the Sphinx is here, so you actually spawn inside the Sphinx, which is interesting. And we roll right through the sign, and grab the lost and the luggage. And that is the final moon of Sand Kingdom and the final moon of part 1 of the BTT analysis. As you see, don't hit the globe, and that is it. So, Sand Kingdom overall very glitchy. I think the first 3 kingdoms of the run really show how glitchy and wacky the run can be. But the things will only get crazier when we will look at LWCL, which is Lake, Wooded, Cloud, and Lost. We'll show that in the next part. And we'll look at that. But that is Sand Kingdom. And that is Cap, Cascade, and Sound beaten in 9 minutes and 24 seconds. Absolutely crazy. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm gonna really enjoy doing the next bits, so hope you all enjoyed, and have a lovely day, and goodbye.